This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Missy Kohler. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. This segment of the news is brought to you by Silver State Health, bringing quality medical and psychiatric care to Pahrump. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Thanks so much for joining us here on News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Missy Kohler. Today is December 30th.
Well, Governor Steve Sisolak gave an update this afternoon on the COVID-19 vaccination and the playbook plan for this mass distribution. Currently, Tier 2 vaccines are being distributed to frontline essential workers to include educators, child care providers, public transportation, and essential retail workers. The playbook has also been updated to include those aged 75 and older. The governor lauded the work of those involved with the planning and distribution of the vaccine and introduced Shannon Bennett, Immunization Program Manager in the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, for an update on the next tier of distribution and playbook updates.
The playbook continues to be fluid. We must remain flexible to ensure a proper and robust COVID-19 vaccine response. We will continue to apply a data-driven approach to vaccine allocation and work with counties to ensure the playbook and the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices recommendations are being followed for priority populations to be vaccinated. As more doses of the vaccine are received in Nevada and distributed to counties, some regions of the state may move into the next tier sooner than others, based on factors such as population size and vaccine demand within a tier group. As we work through the first tier of vaccination, Nevada's medical workforce are able to receive the vaccine, and our pharmacy partners are working to vaccinate staff and residents in Nevada's long-term care facilities. Our pharmacy partners are diligently testing their staff to ensure vaccinating pharmacists are COVID negative before entering the facilities to provide vaccinations. We have heard from many facilities across our state that this program is working well. In addition to long-term care facility staff and residents, the immunization program has worked with the State Aging and Disability Services Division to identify intensive supported living arrangements and supported living arrangement facilities for staff and residents to ensure these populations are also included in Tier 1. We are finalizing the updated vaccine playbook to include the most recent CDC recommendations, information for clinicians, more details on individual populations, and guidance related to the specific recommended vaccines. However, prior to the rollout of the completed updates, I wanted to provide you all with some decisions that have been made as of today. Nevada's tiered structure has been updated to include prioritization of people 75 and older in Tier 2, or what the CDC refers to as Phase 1B. These Nevadans will be vaccinated concurrently with the first group of Nevada's frontline essential workers. The list of Tier 2 frontline essential workers will not vary greatly from the current playbook, but further updates will be provided in the full rollout upon final review and conversations with stakeholders. Additionally, those 65 to 74 years of age and people with underlying health conditions will be vaccinated in Tier 3 alongside Nevada's second group of essential workers. Similar to Tier 2, the essential workers in Tier 3 will largely remain the same as those listed in the current playbook, with some adjustments that will be provided to the public in the full rollout. This playbook is a guide that we know will be adjusted as more information is learned and the vaccination rollout progresses across the United States. We continue to have a limited supply of vaccine and are working with organizations statewide to provide information on the tiers and prioritization of those unable to work from home and those most likely to come into contact with COVID-19 patients.
Nevada Highway Patrol is asking for the public's help in identifying a vehicle that struck a pedestrian on December 26th on Spring Mountain Road near Las Vegas Boulevard in Las Vegas. In the video, you see a light-colored SUV. Directly behind the car is a black passenger car that was spotted on this video shortly after it struck the pedestrian and fled the scene. You can call Nevada Highway Patrol with any further information.
And 2 vehicles were damaged, but there were no serious injuries as a result of that crash on Wednesday afternoon here in Pahrump. Luckily, no injuries were reported as a result of a 2-vehicle rear-end collision that occurred early this afternoon on Bell Vista and Ryan Way. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and auxiliary units arrived on scene. 1 vehicle sustained major damage. The other vehicle, minor damage as a result of this collision. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies are investigating.
We'll be right back with more News 25.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of the news is brought to you by P&P Property Management. Knowledge, experience, communication, and trust. Call Cynthia at 775-727-4444.
Thanks for staying with us. Financial analysts are making predictions for the new presidential cycle. Millionaires are looking forward to 2021, and Martin Luther King's eldest son wants to give everyday Americans an opportunity to invest in his hot IPOs.
Topping our news, 2021 rings in a new administration in the White House. In the financial world, that begins what is known as the presidential cycle. According to the Stock Traders Almanac, the first 2 years of the cycle tend to be the weakest of the market. Of the 4 years in the White House, it's because that's when the new administration is grappling with making changes. Millionaires are predicting a big year for the stock market in 2021. A survey of millionaires reported by CNBC say they are optimistic. 70% believe the S&P 500 will gain at least 5%. A third of those expect a gain of 10%. And most millionaires plan to buy more stocks in the new year. Martin Luther King III, the eldest son of the civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr., is among the executives making it possible for everyday Americans to invest in hot IPOs. The Forest Road Acquisition Corporation plans to raise $250 million to invest in media and tech. Well, you know it's December 30th, and tomorrow, New Year's Eve. If you're planning to ring in the new year with fireworks, our launch site is open.
The Pahrump Fireworks launch site is open tonight, Wednesday, from 5 p.m. until 11 p.m., and tomorrow, which is New Year's Eve, from 5 p.m. until midnight. The launch site is located off of Gamebird Road and Fox Avenue here in Pahrump. Those who would like to use the launch site can do so with the permit that is purchased at our local fireworks store. Spectators can watch the fireworks display from the parking lot located off of Fox Avenue or from the stands.
Brothels across Nevada remain closed due to the coronavirus pandemic, and that includes several right here in Nye County, including Sherry's Ranch on Homestead Road in Pahrump. Dina Duff says the brothel had to lay off all its staff in March after the governor ordered a statewide shutdown, and they're anxiously awaiting the go-ahead to reopen.
Well, we're closed until the governor opens us up. A lot of other places were able to open even for short periods of time to bring some money in, but we haven't been able to do that.
Sherry's Ranch has been closed since March 14th. They've had to lay off nearly 36 employees and more than 70 ladies working as independent contractors.
It was scary for the staff because they were unsure of what their future was going to be at that point. They were worried about, how they were going to pay their bills and what was happening with their family. Some of them are struggling. Some of the girls have been trying to get what we call a square job, and they're having a difficult time. They're struggling with how to define what they did. Yeah. For them to be able to find another job, as well as their income from other jobs, even if they are able to find one, is substantially less than what they were making here.
Duff says luckily Sherry's Ranch has been able to reallocate money to keep the lights on.
Well, we had a bunch of updates and projects that were in the works before the shutdown for remodel improvements, as well as we were going to be building another bungalow. That's all been, all that money that we had for that and remodeling the rooms and stuff has all been put towards just keeping our mortgage paid. And so for our loss financially, we're talking a lot of money between the independent contractors and the business itself.
Duff says she'd like to see some coronavirus relief money made available to brothels.
I think there should be something, because when when the packages were put out to the American public to help this with stimulus checks, as well as to help the companies to keep their doors from closing, we weren't included in any of that. We weren't allowed to get any of it. So I'm hoping that with more, with our voice being more out there, that higher ups will look at us and go, okay, we're a business. We are a legit business. We do pay our taxes, pay a lot in taxes. We do contribute to the communities. We need to help them.
Yeah.
And as of right now, we have not had help.
And Duff is hopeful that the COVID vaccines will help speed the reopening of our economy and Sherry's Ranch.
I'm very optimistic about it. I'm really hoping that this is going to help a lot of people in our community, as well as help get it under control where we can open and start bringing our economy back up.
In addition to the closure of the brothel itself, the restaurant and hotel at Sherry's Ranch also remain closed, and Duff says she's unsure when they will reopen, even after the brothel was allowed to resume operations.
When we come back, we'll have more information about the COVID-19 vaccine, so stick around.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Canyon Ridge Periodontics. Give them a call at 702-966-0302.
Welcome back. Well, as Nevada Medicaid, the Silver State Health Insurance Exchange, Nevada HealthLink, and the Division of Insurance are preparing for the mass vaccination of Nevada residents for COVID-19. Many people are asking, how will I get the vaccine? State agencies and medical providers will be updating communities statewide about how and when and where a COVID-19 vaccine will become available. Consumers who have coverage with individual health plans, small group plans, large group plans, and catastrophic plans will be covered to receive the COVID-19 vaccine without any co-payment, co-insurance, or any form of cost sharing, including the cost of administering the vaccine. Nevadans who are insured by entities not regulated by the Department of Insurance may still be covered to receive the vaccine by federal law.
Winter break is here, and a lot of kids are probably asking mom and dad if they can go sledding or skiing. But are those activities safe right now, given the pandemic? Cleveland Clinic children's pediatrician Dr. Gina Robinson says many wintertime activities are okay, as long as there aren't too many people around.
Those things are actually going to be safer because you're outside, so there's more room for the particles to disperse and there's less risk of transmission. But then those places tend to get crowded at certain times too. So you have to keep that in mind.
Dr. Robinson says there are all kinds of outdoor activities that can be safe for kids this winter, like ice skating, cross-country skiing, and of course building a snowman, which you could turn into a neighborhood contest. She says the key is to practice social distancing no matter what you're doing. So if you get somewhere and there's a big crowd, you may want to come back another day. She also says it's important to still wear a mask or face covering underneath your scarf.
Just try to have fun. And acknowledge the fact that we can't do the things that we would normally do in the way that we would normally do them, but try to focus on the things that we can do and get creative.
Dr. Robinson also wants to stress the importance of staying active this winter. She says many kids are learning from home now, so they need to make sure they find some time to get moving, even if it's just a short walk outside.
Thanks to Brad Francis for that report. Well, the climate here in Nye County is a bit unique, and that can present some challenges for successful growing in our area. Dr. Q of Star Nursery is quite familiar with the local conditions, and he has some tips for eliminating a common nuisance plant, Bermuda grass.
There's only a couple things that will kill it, and that's because even though you kill the top growth, it's got all those rhizomes that grow underground, and even if you cut them off, they will reroot and start growing again. The only way to do it is to treat it several times with what's called a translocator herbicide. And what that means is that it's absorbed only by the leaf, the actively growing foliage of the leaf of the plant. So you need to get it sprayed when it's green and actively growing. And then what it'll do is it will translocate from the leaves where it's absorbed all the way down to the roots and hopefully kill those roots. But sometimes it'll take more than one application. It'll take 2 or 3 applications. So what you want to do is spray it while it's actively growing, let it all die back, cut that or rake it all out, the dead grass on top, water the soil good, wait about a week and see if anything sprouts back up, and if it does, spray it again after you got some nice leaf growth on it. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, eventually that's going to get all those roots down there killed out, and that's the only way you can really get rid of it. It will take over other things, either grow over them and choke them out, or the roots will actually grow so thick around them that it'll choke them out.
It's time to meet another great pet just waiting for their forever home. For today's Save a Pet, Darby O'Donnell joins us from Desert Haven Animal Society to introduce us to Addie.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
Hi, I'm Darby here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and today we are joined with Addie. Addie is a 2-year-old blue-nosed pit. She's a female. She has a beautiful white chest and gray eyes. A lot of energy though, very, very strong dog. I actually recently just adopted a blue-nosed pit from Desert Haven as well. They are extremely high energy, very affectionate though, and they need a lot of really good training. She would definitely make a wonderful family dog, but you need to put in the time and take her on frequent walks. But if you want to come and see Addie or any of her friends here at Desert Haven Animal Society, please give them a call ahead of time to make an appointment, 775-751-7020, or you can always look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, it's John Kohler on location for KPVM Channel 25 News. We're on location at Postal Road and Highway 160. There's a new crosswalk being installed here, and tonight and tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, starting at 9 o'clock and going until 5 a.m. There'll be workmen overhead installing lights and all around here. The traffic cones are going to stay up for a little bit, and then once this is fully operational, you can be sure that there will be some friendly patrol officers testing the lights and making sure people do come to a complete stop when the lights come flashing on. So be looking for that new traffic revision here in Pahrump, keeping people safe, and that's a good thing. Hey, check out this weather. Lots of clouds. I don't think we're going to get any rain, but we'll have some wind and some stuff to report to you. Tell you about the whole week coming up.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. Did you know baseball was invented on this date back in 1906? Abner Doubleday and Congress invented it, and they said, okay, yes, you're officially a game. So how about that? Why do they wait till December 30th? Nobody plays baseball December 30th. That's weird. Burnley, feeling weird today at 47 degrees for a high, 29 for a low. Out in Fallon, near 48 and 25 for a low. Carson City, near 49 degrees. Just barely, not quite 50. Oh, you're so close. 29 for a low tonight. Tonopah, you're staring at 39 degrees going, why is it so cold in Tonopah? 20 degrees for a low tonight. Goldfield, 39 degrees for a high, 18 for a low. Beatty, 53 for a high, 30 for a low. Out in Amargosa, 57 degrees, and trying hard to beat that freezing mark on the low end and doing it at 30 degrees for a low tonight. Las Vegas, 55 for a high, 36 for a low. And out in Death Valley, 64 degrees is your high daytime temperature, 40 degrees tonight as we head towards morning. And it's 46 currently here in Pahrump. 53 was our high today. Felt all right. We had some wind, not too much, but clouds building up. The humidity increasing, 19%. Sunrise this morning at 6:54, and the sun went away at 4:38. Good night, sun. Bye-bye. Low tonight will be about 33 degrees, and as we head towards morning, that humidity will increase to 28%. Wind's going to be about 4 miles an hour. No big deal, but check this out as we head on into the week. We got a cloudy little tickle cloud going tomorrow. And 15-mile-per-hour winds. Whoa! There goes our clouds. Clear skies on Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the clouds return. And just in time for Taco Tuesday, wind kicks up a little bit again. We get some clear skies for a day to celebrate Taco Tuesday proper. And Wednesday, wind kicking up, clouds coming back. It's going to be kind of a hit and miss on the bluster factor this week. But we'll keep you informed as we go along. Let's go back to the desk. Here's Missy Indiana.
Thanks so much, John. Well, there you go. That's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Missy Kohler. We thank you for watching and hope you have a wonderful evening.